In Bali, you guys would know anything is possible. And that's one of the things we love about this place. You respect everybody, but you can also dream up something and make it happen. And there's no gatekeepers. There's no anyone telling you, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. There's always a way. And I really like that about Bali.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the Bali Insiders podcast. How are you, Karls?
I'm excited to be back in the studio. Hi, everyone.
So today we have some very exciting guests on the podcast for you. They started as a couple and then started traveling the world together. They created an amazing life and started sharing it on social media and became influencers on Instagram. And from there, they have also started to focus on a business that helps people like yourselves learn how to live their lifestyle.
So a lot of you might already know them and follow them along. They have over 1 million followers, Mari Faye and Jake Snow. They base themselves in Bali for half of the year, and quite a few of their businesses are based here in Bali. And we've invited them into the studio today to talk us through their new program where they're teaching other people how to live their lifestyle, which is not having one permanent home base, being able to travel around and make money in many different ways. So we're really excited to hear their story today, and we think you're all going to love to hear what they have to say.
Welcome, Jake and Marie, to the Bali Insiders podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're very excited to have you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we finally made it. We've been in contact for a while, but we're finally here after New Year. It's great to be here.
Yeah, awesome to have you. So, as you know, we start the podcast with our Fast Five. So, are you ready?
Yes, we're ready.
Let's do it.
We do one each.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see.
We might have the same. We probably have the same answers.
You can double up or have your own.
All right.
That's fine. So, first question: when did you first visit Bali?
2016.
Yeah. Actually, no, I was here on a football trip much earlier when I was 18. So yeah, it must have been 2010 was the first time.
Yeah, for me it was 2016 in August. I fell in love with Jake and then with Bali.
Aww.
Yeah.
Best answer yet. And what is your favorite area of Bali?
It's so hard to say because Bali has it all. We love living around CANGGU and Peranakan because it has it all for us in terms of like cafes and lifestyle and living there, but we also really love Uluwatu for its beaches.
Yes.
Agree. Yeah. We also love Mirahmaja. Yeah, we've been to Sumber Kema a few times, and this is just something completely different that a lot of people haven't seen before, which is it's a beautiful region as well.
And the islands.
Yeah,
everything.
Everywhere.
Nusa Penida. Yeah.
And what's your favorite restaurant in Bali?
Oh, when I read that I had to answer it, I was like, I can't, because I think the beauty of Bali is that you have so many different restaurants and you can have every cuisine and just eat somewhere else every single day. We love Yuki's right now because it's right at the beach. We love Japanese food, sushi. Yeah.
I would say Kind because Corinne and Lauren are good friends of
I was
ours.
going to say Lauren, I'm very happy about that.
And they, we've known them for so long. And when we first came to Bali, like this was mind blowing for us. When we ate there, and we're like, how is this plant based? And it was just such a tropical vibe. And I just remember the first feeling of going in there. And then Give as well. That's a beautiful Indonesian.
In
one.
a few months we have a new one, but we'll talk about it later. So it will be our favorite.
It'll be a new favorite.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what is your favorite local food?
To be honest, I love eating at warungs. For anyone who doesn't know what warungs are, but I'm pretty sure they do because they listen to your podcast. It's just a place where you can eat like buffet style food for really cheap and try local food. I love tempeh manis. It's like tempeh caramelized. I really love it, and just with like heaps of vegetables and so on.
Yeah, nasi campur for me. Just being able to choose, mix and match and choose. You know, mushroom rendang is one of my favorites. But yeah, nasi campur in general.
Yum.
And this is a hard one. What do you love most about Bali?
Oof. I think to have it all. Jake and I have traveled to over 50 countries together, and I think it's the place, I mean, we've chosen it as our base, it says it all, but yeah, it has it all. It has beautiful culture, amazing people, a really good lifestyle. You can have everything you want here, great food, and just the landscape is just mind-blowing as well.
Yeah. I would say the people. So the local people, for one, because they're just so beautiful and kind, and just their hearts are just pure. I've never been to another place where I felt like that. And then the foreigners who've come here as well also have this just beautiful open-mindedness and this feeling of community here. So it's the locals and the expats that have decided to live here. It's the people that makes it, I think.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Love it.
So to get us started into the Jake and Marie stories, for those people who haven't been following along, which you should, links are in our show notes, can you take us back to how this journey of Jake and Marie began?
I'll let Marie kick it off.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I had worked in Germany worked and studied for 6 years. My story actually starts a bit sad, but my dad passed away, and this kind of made me realize that life is too short to just be stuck in one place if you're not truly happy. And I wasn't happy at that time, so I packed my bag, quit my job, and I had planned, I think, 8 weeks of Asia, just one trip. One ticket to Thailand, and then I knew I was going to go to Bali and Vietnam as well. And a week into my trip, I met Jake at the beach in Vietnam, and I don't know, I think it was just he was the first Australian I'd ever met. I didn't know they were so nice, otherwise I might have fallen in love with another Australian, but he was the first one. And yeah, I was just like, wow, coming from Germany, everyone is so focused on work, and he was just like, the way he was describing life and what he was doing, and he was so wild and free, I just fell for it right away. And everyone at home was like, you're crazy, Marie. So I was like giving up my ideas of going and do my master in Barcelona and stuff. I was like, nah, I'm going to travel with this guy. I really like him.
She'd actually paid for it. So she gave up like 4,000 euros or something.
It was a deposit, yeah, but I had paid for it. I had organized an apartment after my trip. I just wanted to live in Spain. I grew up in Spain, so there's a connection. And yeah, so I fell in love with Jake. We started traveling together, first with our friends, came to Bali, fell in love with Bali as well. We came back every single year after that. Yeah, and then I think, do you want to quickly explain the crazy part?
I can give some details. So when we traveled together for 3 weeks, and by the time we were leaving Vietnam, we met in Thailand, then we went to Vietnam. I had already planned my trip. I was supposed to go to Cambodia with my mate, and we were going to meet somebody there. We left Thailand, and I left Marie after knowing her for 4 days, and I got on this ferry, and I said to my mate, I'm like, why am I leaving this girl? I feel sick, this is stupid. So we got on the plane to Cambodia, and as soon as we arrived, I said, I'm going to Vietnam, because that's where she's going to be. And whether you're coming or not, I'm going. And he was like, what the heck? You need a visa to get into Vietnam. And so, yeah, I convinced him to give me his passport. We paid like a local guy to go and get this visa because it needed to be expedited. And we paid him 200 euros, and then the guy just left. And my mate was like, what happens if he never comes back? We don't have passports. And I was like, I don't know, I'm in love, I don't care. And so
it's fine.
He can't, yeah. So anyway, he came back, everything worked out. We went to Vietnam and it was amazing. And then when we left, Marie and I were just like head over heels. I had to go back to play football in Australia because I was on a contract and I was getting paid, and I had my job as well. So I went home and got back every day. I was like, she's gonna meet another Aussie. While I'm here.
I just left to go to Bali, so
yeah.
Oh yeah, so you definitely going to meet another.
She's in Bali, and she's like, she's going to meet a long-haired Aussie who can actually surf, not one who like looks like he can surf. And so I was just at home thinking about it, and I told my coach, I said, I got to go back. And so I was home for 7 days, flew back to Bali, and then Marie and I spent 12 days here in Uluwatu. We all around, and this was like the 12 days here in Bali that's when our connection was like sealed forever. Yeah. It was, this time was incredible.
Sealed forever.
Yeah, and that's the, so
tattooed forever.
Yeah.
I was here for 12 days. I missed 2 games, and my coach was like, you got to be back for this one because we're playing a good team. So I said, okay, I'm flying back. Played the game, played really well. And then after the game, I said, I'm leaving tomorrow to go back to, Marie was in Lombok at that time. And so I told my coach, I told my captain, I said, I'm in love. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, I have to go. And they're just like, just come back for the finals. So I came back, but Marie and I made this joke. We were playing this game about, me getting a tattoo of like MJ because we're so in love or whatever. And when I flew back into Bali, I was in CANGGU before going to Lombok. I spent one night. I went to a tattoo studio and got,
you got it?
an M and a J on my arm. And I'd known her for a month at this time. And I flew into Lombok and she was meeting in the airport. I was on the plane. I was like, this is either the worst thing you've ever done or the best thing you've ever done. She's gonna think you're a psycho or it's romantic.
It could go either way.
Thankfully, she thought it was romantic. And then we spent 4 days in Lombok. I came home, played finals. Marie went back to Germany. And then we met in LA. And then we've never been apart since. That was 6.5 years ago.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
That is a falling hard and fast
100%.
What a love
Very
story.
crazy. Yeah.
love story.
Yeah.
And obviously meant to be.
Yes.
So then talk us through then how, because I know you have a interesting story of then how the life of Marie and Jake, not just as the couple, but then as the public figures that you're known as now. How did that come about during that love story?
That was actually very unexpected. Our account was my own private account in the beginning. I had like 200 friends following me, that's it. And I think Jake and I, when I met Jake, Jake was already into doing like little funny GoPro videos with his friends and just recording his travels. And then because we were traveling so much, seeing so many amazing places, having so much fun, I just started to take photos with my phone, post it, and friends from home were telling other friends. And so it slowly started growing to, let's say, like 1,000 followers within like the first year without even thinking about it. And then in the next year, 2017, Jake and I slowly, we actually got a van in Australia. So after our travels, Jake took me back to Australia. We started working in a winery, making money seasonally to then afford to travel again.
Marie had the hard hat on and the work boots
High vis.
and the high vis, and it was
And you've made it look amazing.
Not really.
coming from fashion business management in Germany, and then working in the winery with me. That this was kind of what made me realize, underneath all of the beauty and things, and she was so humble and like working like this with me. I was like, she's a keeper. You know? Yeah.
The tattoo was right.
It was worth it. I don't have to get it removed.
Oh, it was just amazing. I mean, we made so much money in a short amount of time, and that kept us traveling. And like then we were able to create our dreams. So like we had a little van that we built up, made it look pretty. We started taking more photos of that, and then a couple went viral with like, let's say 4,000 likes, having like 2,000-3,000 followers. And that's when Jake, he was like, I think this could be something. So we created, it was before Marie Faye, so we created Marie Faye and Jake Snow out of it, and really started to take it more seriously. And I think from 2017 in December, we kept growing like between 6,000 and 10,000 followers a week.
Wow.
Just very, very consistent. And
but we were going crazy. Like
we were going crazy.
In the
like if we say we commit, it was like post twice a week, twice a day, wake
there was
up
a
in the
light
middle of
bulb
the
moment
night.
when we were just creating for ourselves, and then a couple posts went viral. And previously, I was like the football player. I was like, I don't want to do this.
I'm not doing Instagram.
I don't want to kiss and post and do this coupley stuff. But then a couple went viral, and then kind of light bulbs switched for both of us. Like, wow, this is like that's a lot of people that are there that care about what we're doing. And then we said, let's just see where this goes. Let's work at it. So then the goal was to work at the winery 3-4 months, make money, travel for 8. Create as much content as possible, and just try to give as much value and build a community, and then afterwards, let's see what we can do. So,
I think we grew to 100K the following April, around March, April 2018, and then in October 2018, Jake proposed to me, and I didn't expect it at all because when I met Jake, he didn't want to have kids, he didn't want to get married, he didn't believe in it. And so it came like out of nowhere, and we had met like a year before, and I was like, that is crazy.
Yeah, because you really didn't expect it.
Zero. And we were in Cappadocia, which is one of the most beautiful places with like those hot air balloons. And we were collaborating with a hotel that was amazing, had this rooftop terrace. And I thought we were taking videos and photos for the hotel, and then he
was very clever.
Popped the question. We got like a raw video of it, posted it, jumped on a flight to Egypt, came off the plane and my phone exploded. So we grew 150,000 in a week, I think.
Wow.
It just went all over the world. Newspapers started talking about it, and TV and so on. So we grew like from 100 to like 300 in no time. And that was when we realized, holy shit, okay, this is something. And now what I'm saying on the story is seen by so many people. Am I even made for this? So like, it was amazing, but at the same time, I had like my first anxiety attack, and like I felt so responsible as well all of a sudden.
And exposed, because, you know, it starts as just your personal little sharing things, and all of a sudden everybody's got an opinion on
but then obviously it was amazing, especially people meeting us, seeing us on the street and saying like, I'm traveling here because of you, I'm doing that because of you. So then it really turned into something that we didn't expect, into a purpose, because we always loved inspiring people and like teaching people.
Yeah, the whole point in the beginning when we started sharing was like, if one person can see our story and build up the courage to tell the person that they love them and commit, or go that trip that you wanted to, like Marie going to Asia. She would have never met me if she didn't have the courage to just screw it, I'm going to go to Asia. If we can convince or give people the courage to do that, then everything we're doing is worth it. And then being able to build all of these businesses and stuff afterwards, I think, is just because it's so pure for us. It just feels so right, and all of these opportunities just started coming to us, and yeah, that's how it all began.
Well, and it obviously really resonates with people organically as well, because, you know, you didn't try, people, you know, found you, loved your stories. There wasn't anything contrived about any of it. So, you know, people really kind of
can relate to that.
Yeah, connected to the story, which I think is so
It was
cool.
very genuine, and in the beginning, like you said, we didn't do it for any other purpose, but just because we enjoyed it and we were traveling and we were in love and we just wanted to share this, and we had no idea what it could turn into. A lot of people these days, it's struggle now with social media, because a lot of people know what they can get out of it, so they come in with that mentality, and it's fine, it's great. There's so many opportunities to do that, but you still have to have something that's really genuine, that you're passionate about, that you would do anyway, even if there was no reward. You would still post, you would still share, if you knew that you would never get anything out of it. And that's what a lot of people are missing now.
And struggling within that space.
I think you need to have a purpose, whether it's like you're so in love with creating and you're like an artist and love content creation and you would do that anyway, or like us, we wanted to share what we were learning with others because we love teaching. I actually wanted to become a teacher, but like this, what we're doing now is so much more rewarding, because people they come to us and they want to listen and
learn from it. So where was the first point where you made money from it?
So obviously, I think when we had 6,000 or 7,000 followers, the first hotel started reaching out to us, and I was like, this cannot be, like, what? How did they even find us? And like 5-star hotels in Thailand, they were like, if you're ever coming to Thailand, like you can stay with us. And I was like, we're coming to Thailand in 2 weeks.
We
and
will
I was like, oh my God, like with our big backpacks, we would arrive and they would pick us up in like those fancy cars. And I was like, what? Like, this is like, are you sure? So like, this was like the first moment where I was like calling my grandpa, and I was like, the toilet is heated. It is thrown. Like, can you believe this? Like, just because of this Instagram, like, it was a really like cool moment. And then brands started hitting us up. Here, you want to have a free watch? You want to have this and that? And Jake and I, we had a chat, and Jake said also from the very beginning, I don't want to be someone just like using it, and like, let's make it something long term and something purposeful and build a business out of it later on with something we love, instead of just taking free stuff all the time. Like, it doesn't really make sense. So we were really strict in the very beginning. We really did.
Every email that came through was like, nah.
It's
so
many
like,
no's.
thank you for the offer, but if I'm not going to if I don't want to buy it, I don't want to be a salesman for it. And so the promotions that we did do were just genuinely things that we were like, this is what we love. We've bought it ourselves with our own money. We didn't get it for free. And we kept that for a long time in the beginning.
Almost a year, I think.
Which was, I think it created a lot more trust with us, because I'm as well Australian, and I think Aussies especially have this, it's tall poppy syndrome for one. So none of us want to
be too tall.
We don't want to be too tall. We don't want to stand out from the crowd, because we get cut down pretty quick, and everyone's making jokes at each other, and my mates at home were just cracking.
Oh, I could imagine.
Every
Like
kind
coming
of
from the
joke.
footy crowd.
Yeah, the footy guys.
I was so upset. I was like, how can they do this to you?
It's just the way it is. And so there's that. And then also, I hated that feeling of selling to people. It was one thing I really had to get over, is that fear of selling, especially if you're providing value to someone. It's just an exchange. It took me a long time to figure that out. And it was Marie who, kind of coached me through it. And then slowly but surely I felt a bit better about it. It's like, hey, there's nothing wrong with offering a product. And if people want to buy it, it's up to them.
Yes.
And then, if they're happy with the product, then that's great. Everyone's happy.
Yeah.
So that was, fast forward probably 18 months. We had around 100,000 followers. A lot of people were asking us about how we were editing our photos at that time. And there was a couple other influencers around the place that were selling these things called presets, which is like a filter for a photo. And I'd created a bunch that I was using myself, and Marie and I kind of came together and figured out a style that we both liked. I would edit the photo and then I'll say, Marie, what do you think? And she goes, a bit more like this and that. And I go, okay. And then, so we go back and forth. Actually caused a lot of arguments in the beginning. In the beginning, when we hadn't really split up our roles, we were always like, I like this one. No, I like this one. And so anyway, I created this, this pack of these filters. And then Marie was like, this would give a lot of value to people if you would get these. So,
and Jake was like, let's just give it for free. And I was like, well, Jake, at one stage we also need to make some money, and like we can give it like half price of what everyone else sells it. And I was like, I'm just gonna do like a little test, and I would like put it on the stories, and within 5 minutes we would make like $500 because people are like, I want it. And it took the Daily Mail reaching out to us, wanting to talk about our presets for Jake then to finish it in that night and put it public.
Yeah, because I was like, if these guys are going to talk about it, then we should probably have a call to action or something.
It was Marie, Daily Mail. Okay, let's do it. And the next day we woke up and we're like, holy cow. The first months we made really good money, and I was like, this is not going to happen again. And Jake's like, no, this is going to be like every month. And I was like, no way. Like, I was always very skeptical. Jake was always like, to the moon. So like we were really like yin and yang.
Good balance.
And that was the first product, and it did super, super well. And that gave us the confidence to then try out more things and just realize, I actually saw a post the other day and I thought it was so true. And Jake, like, he just explained he never liked selling because a lot of times it's just so blunt nowadays that people are like, they're just selling me stuff. But if you have a gift for someone, you also want them to unwrap it, right? And like use it because you're gifting it. And if you have a talent, you're gifting this to other people as well if they have
that is a nice way.
So I think, we have things to give, and nowadays we found several ways how we can do that.
Yes. And obviously timing was really a key thing too, in terms of, the start of Instagram. Well, it wasn't the start of Instagram, but you mentioned before 7,000 followers, and that was when you got your first kind of like invitation to a hotel. And I'm like, now with 7,000 followers, you wouldn't get anything.
Yeah, that's like your mum has 7,000 followers.
Exactly.
Well, you still can. I mean, nowadays, we might talk about it a bit later. We started an online academy to teach people how to do Instagram and other things. You can, because it depends if you're selling your influence or you're selling your content creation skills.
Yes.
So like you can have 20 followers if you're a really good content creator and you can give value. We now, with our properties as well, invite people that just have a really good eye, and we like, give us photos. We don't have the time. You can stay for free, of course. We're really grateful for your talent.
But also one thing that's interesting to note, when Marie and I started, and we were looking around at some other people on Instagram, and they were so far ahead of us, and we thought we're too late. That's a true story. We literally thought, we're too late in the game. These guys are so far ahead. Like, it's already over, isn't it? And we thought that too. And people 2 years ago thought that, and now they're like 200,000, 300,000. And then TikTok comes around, and all of the people who knew how to create content, tell a story, captivate an audience, boom, they just blew up. And so there's always new opportunities along the road, and that mentality, we've heard this so many times from people, it's too late. It's like, it's never too late to learn these skills because you don't know what's coming next. But having said that, we were very lucky at the time. It was this this rise of social media, and we worked really hard to like ride that wave.
Yeah.
But everybody now has just this crazy opportunity to get into podcasting, YouTubing, Instagram, TikTok, content, online business. 10 years ago, this was all, it wasn't even real. It didn't even exist.
Yeah.
So it's still in its infancy. There's so many ways that people can break free from the traditional lifestyle that was normal. And there's also a lot of landmines out there where you can screw up. So it's high risk, high reward, but I think for young people especially, they should just be rolling the dice and trying new things. And that's how we got to where we are. We just, especially for me, but Marie was like a, one-hit wonder, kind of left her job, came over, and then we found it. But before Marie, I worked in 20 different jobs. And it was just kind of like, nothing felt like, that's me, that's what I want.
And it's still for us. Like we've tried so many different things.
Yeah.
Of course, you only see the things that are working now, but we tried a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's been decisions along the way that don't always continue.
Didn't pan out.
Didn't
100%.
continue along. So after you were got all the followers, you're selling the presets. Where did starting to call Bali home come into that? Was it always from the beginning, from that first 12 days?
We always liked Bali. We always talked about it. We never really committed to a place because we didn't have to until COVID hit, actually. And we were already in Bali and we were already discussing we need a base because we had traveled for a few years now with no home, new country every few weeks. It was very draining, fun but draining. And we were like, we need some kind of a routine. And Jake has always been like the visionary. I'm like the implementer, he's the visionary. And he's like, presets are nice, it's still going so well, but there will be a time where it won't run the same way anymore. We need to think about something else that we want to do. And yeah, COVID kind of was not great, but great at the same time for us because we purposely got stuck here. And we knew, okay, like travel probably won't be a thing for the foreseeable future anymore. How are we going to run our Instagram? And also, what are we going to do with our spare time now that we're not traveling? And that's when we went into business and like tried to figure out what businesses we wanted to create. And we actually had the time to work on it.
Yeah. There's a funny story that it sounds very dreamy, but it's very true. We were staying at Pluto House on Batu Belong when we first met, and we were paying $6 a night or something. Very simple room. It had aircon, so it was luxury.
Did it?
And there's
No
a little
shower,
puppy.
really, cold shower.
But we were staying right there, and that's where this 12 days that Marie and I spent together. And I remember dreaming and talking with Marie about, imagine what it would be like.
This was where we created the presets.
We
were still staying
way
in
back,
that place.
We're dreaming up, like, imagine what it would be to like live here in Bali, and like this would be our life. And fast forward like 3 or 4 years, we finished our hotel, which is 200 meters down the road from that guest house, and we're sitting in our own like dreamy villa with our dream job, and it was just like that vision came true. And for me, Bali was always like my dream for 100%. Marie's from Germany, I'm from Australia. So for us, it was always, we need to find somewhere that's probably in the middle because we're either with my family or with your family, and neither of us want to pull the other one away. So where can we be where we can bounce? And of course, Bali's way further from Germany than Australia. But it was early 2020 when the COVID hit that we had to say, okay, now is time. And that's when we bought some land here in Bali. And because we couldn't move and travel, we could focus on it. And so we started building. That was the beginning. Yeah.
Bali Insiders podcast is proudly sponsored by Lighthouse Studios right here in Bali.
This space has been specifically designed for entrepreneurs, podcasters, coaches, and educators of all kinds. You can record podcasts just like ours, as well as masterclasses, social media content, and so much more.
They have awesome customizable studios to choose from. And most importantly, they take care of absolutely everything. The cameras, the microphones, the lights, even if you wish, the editing. They make it so easy.
And as well as the studios,
They have a co-working cafe and some of the best food and coffee on the island of Bali. We highly recommend that you come in for a tour and have a chat about how you can create your own epic video and audio content.
You can visit them on Instagram at Lighthouse Studios Bali or jump on their website, wearelight.house. Yeah, you have 2 properties. So,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
So,
bought them at the same time.
so which came first? Or
We went a bit. Maria will tell.
So originally, MAJA, CANGGU, the white one, the Greek-inspired one, was supposed to be our home, and we created like little suites for our followers also to stay and like live in one place. But then it's like we realized, no, it's gonna be a perfect boutique hotel. Like we've traveled a lot through Greece, we loved the style, and we took it over here. And then at the same time, the land became available behind for a really good price. And we had a friend who wanted to finance it, and then we wanted to run retreats. But he pulled out a few months later. But at that time, we had already met Raquel and Miguel, our now business partners that we're running our Club Life Design online academy with. And we were like, this would be the perfect place for our followers to come to run retreats. It's like more of a like Bali style, very tropical. So yeah, we just decided to do both.
And we're the kind of people as well where we just go all in. So instead of doing a nice little 1-bedroom villa or a little apartment, we just get 15 ARA, build 13 suites. And last year in the early months of the year, when we're getting to the finishings of the project and things were getting difficult, then it was like we had some issues with the developer and the contractor, and it was getting a bit scary. The economy started collapsing. We still don't know about COVID. We'd invested so much into these builds and hadn't seen $1 come back yet. That was a very scary moment for Marie, especially. For me, I'm like, yeah, so it's all cool. It's in the plan.
she'll be right.
She'll be right. But at that stage, it was like, whoa, we went really big here. We went to hit the home run. But then, the borders opened up in, what was it, like May, June, something like that. We opened in August, and since then we've just been fully booked. So it played out well, luckily.
So congratulations for starters. That's really gutsy to build 2 properties during COVID. So I'm really happy for you guys that it's all playing up, and they're just beautiful.
Thank you.
You have to come.
Yes, we do.
Definitely.
We do. Actually, I was staying at a villa during COVID, and I peeked over the fence, and then I was like, "Oh my goodness, that's Jake and Marie's." I could tell by the shell that it was your place. So I've seen it in construction mode.
Yeah, you have to come back for sure.
So hopefully now it's got higher fences, so people like Karlie can't like peek over.
I was right at the top of this other villa, and I was just peeking. It was COVID. There was not much happening.
No, definitely.
There was not much happening there. So you've touched on it now. So let's talk about your collaboration with Raquel and Miguel, because that was something following along with you guys that I thought was so clever to join forces with. And if people aren't following along, they're Explorosaurus on Instagram, who I guess were in a similar space to you guys, same kind of amount of followers, same amazing style of pictures.
Content and everything.
Yeah.
We always make fun of it, and we say they're like the Latino version of us.
Yes.
It's like vanilla and chocolate or whatever. It just came in the right moment. It's really funny. We met them once in Bali before. We had a villa and we invited some people, and we'd always chatted from the very moment that we started, because they started at the same time, and it was like always like this family of couples that were doing the same thing and like growing in the same pace to help each other out, but also are probably healthy competitors.
That's what I was going to say.
Keep us growing.
Anyone from the outside looking in when we partnered would have been like, what the heck? Those guys are like competitors. Like they're each other's main competition. And I have to say this because on Instagram, it has become this competition. And Marie and I have never been a part of that. If we all help each other, we all succeed. The pie it's everlasting. It's enough for everybody. And on Instagram, unfortunately, it's not like that. A lot of people want to compete with each other and work against each other. So from the outside looking in, a lot of people would have thought, what, that's crazy. But when we met them, they were just beautiful people, very honest, very kind.
Yeah, I said to Jake, like, they're so raw and honest about everything that was also not going well. And I really respect that. And I thought that was super nice. And so we kept talking, didn't get together at that stage. But then in 2020, during COVID, Jake and I started investing into the builds. I started a fashion brand, and we also started the online academy to try to build. So everything at once, of course. Way too much. And we really failed with the academy, but we knew there was so much potential, and this was really what we were doing, but it was just so new to us, and we didn't even know where to start and everything. So we met them. We came over to Europe when the borders opened again for a couple months. We met them in Santorini. We were talking honestly about like the time that COVID started, and that we were very overwhelmed with the situation. And then Raquel was like, we're actually working on an online course right now, how to take photos on your phone and then edit them, and also videos on your phone. So a mobile editing course. And I was like, no way. Jake and I, we started working on something, but we stopped because it's just like, it's too much. And she's like, let's do it together. And I was like, that actually sounds really good. So I pitched it to Jake. Jake's like, yeah, let's do it. Next thing, we would fly to Portugal, sit together for the next few months, come to Bali, record everything, and then launch it, I think, end of the year. And it was a huge success. So much work. Raquel had already started before, but like just to finish it, we did everything ourselves. We found a talented videographer and editor, luckily, but the rest all came from us.
Such a great example of how collaborating together, you can just multiply the success together if you're brutally honest with each other and the clear communication. Because of course, when you work with other people too, it can collapse and you can have fallouts and things. But with Raquel and Miguel, we've just always been, hey, this is what we're getting out of it. This is what you guys are getting out of it. Let's work together. If you ever feel something come up that doesn't feel good, just tell us. And we've had that from the beginning, and that's what's allowed us to do it together very successfully.
And we've also watched each other on the Instagram, and we saw we're both very committed and very hardworking, and that brought us to the same level. So we are like, okay, we're putting in the same amount of effort, and it's been great. Now we have 16 staff. It's grown very quickly in the last couple of years.
And is that all run out of your Bali company?
No, so that's not run. We've got 3 different countries we've put up businesses. So yeah, like Bali is mainly the properties.
You really don't do things by halves, do you guys?
No,
I love it.
All of the online stuff is coming from Hong Kong. Hong Kong has a great incorporation set up for online businesses, especially if you're like a global citizen. So we live in Asia, so that made sense for us. It was either Singapore or Hong Kong. And then Bali, the PMAs are great for villa construction and things, but not so good for online stuff. They don't have payment gateways online. It's very difficult to set up a shop and things like that. And also logistically with shipping and things. I mean, for the clothing, it's also very difficult.
We started here, but then we also merged my brand with their brand because they also had started something, and we're like, everything is working so well together, let's do this together as well. And they're based in Portugal, so we're moving everything finally now to Portugal, and the company is also in Portugal. Portugal is really good for fashion, and they have...
Portugal's the fashion, Hong Kong's the online business, and Bali is the
construction.
I love that.
So good.
Nothing in Germany or Australia.
No, it's
not the best countries to set up if you don't want to live there either.
Well, it's very important for Marie and I, as being an expat. You probably have a lot of expats listening. Whether you're a tax resident or a non-tax resident of your home country matters a lot depending on what you're doing, and those lines cannot be crossed. If you want to do proper business and you want to make sure that you're doing everything correctly, in Australia, it's actually quite great to become a non-tax resident. There's a few things you need to tick off. And with Germany, she just had to sign a form, say, hey, I'm not in Germany anymore, I'm leaving. If we were to do something in Australia or Germany, that would put us back in the country again, which means all of our global businesses, everything we're doing is back there, which is, it's fine if you are living there and using up the roads and the Medicare and stuff. That's good. You should be paying, but we just haven't been there for 6 years, literally since. And for me, I've been traveling for 10 years. So we just had to make sure that we made sure that we didn't go back over that line.
Who knows in the future, but
Yeah.
like we love visiting family and them now again coming here as well. Yeah.
And have they been here to see the...
Jake's mum. was
My
the
mum
first one.
has, yeah. My dad and my stepmom were supposed to come, but that got postponed. And then we have our wedding this year in August. So that's when finally everybody will be able to come here and see everything.
Unbelievable.
That will be the pinnacle of the...
Yeah, we always joke about it, but it's
We're hoping it's like going to be like not the end of the fairy tale, but like the cherry on top of everything that's happened, you know, from the engagement being in 2018. We've actually been in a 5-year engagement now, which Marie's not happy about.
I'm always joking about it, doesn't matter. But yeah, in 2020 we were supposed to get married and everything was planned. Flights were booked and everything, but COVID kind of cancelled
It's
everything.
such a tough road for so many couples.
Yeah.
But it's ready to go.
Is it the
August.
same wedding though? Or is it...
Nah.
Yeah.
No.
Well, that's the other thing. You've been able to plan like multiple weddings. This is great.
Yeah, that's
like,
not
you can-
fun. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it's completely different to 2 years ago. I mean, yeah, we just started with everything.
Yeah, so it's different now. So let's talk a little bit more, because I really want our listeners to learn a bit more about what you're teaching in Club Life Design on your online course. What can people expect to learn from that?
I think you came up with the name actually, Club Life Design, because we were like, what is something that can grow bigger than just social media and actually define what we've found for ourselves, and that's life design, designing your life in a way that you are truly happy. It can be at home, it can be in another country, it can have to do with online stuff, but doesn't necessarily have to. You just need to be happy within yourself and do what you love, find a purpose. And I think that was really clever.
It's consciously designing your life the way you want it to be, because a lot of people, they would just let the years float by, and then all of a sudden they realize this is not what I wanted.
Yeah.
So it's being conscious about creating that life that you want. And like Marie said, it can be anything for anybody. For us, it was traveling and being overseas and setting up online businesses and working with people that we loved and having freedom to move. And for a lot of people, it's a lot of different things. So for us, the key pillars were like, first of all, content, because in this new digital world where you can tell a story to millions of people online through photo or video, to harness that skill is invaluable.
Yeah.
And anyone who knows how to do that can basically do anything from there. So it's like learning how to create content. And then the second pillar for us is building a community around that content, because now everyone can build their own personal brand. So with the content, you can get people all around the world to listen in, to relate to you, to watch whatever you're sharing, your passion, the value you want to give. And then the third is like monetizing that somehow, building a business that you care about or developing a product that people get value from. And then the fourth is like the mindset of going for all of this, because for a lot of people, it's very scary to dive in and to try something like this. What we've learned in the last couple of years is even some of the most traditional, safest things that people were supposed to do, like go to university and get a job, that's not even safe anymore. They lost their jobs as well.
Yeah.
And so now what we teach is people need to grasp with their own hands, their own opportunities, and learn these skills, because once you have these skills, you can do anything. Marie and I now, we've said this a few times, we have our own businesses, but if we were to walk into any company now with the knowledge that we have of marketing, of sales, of building social media, we could get a job anywhere just from those skills and that knowledge, and everybody can get that and become invaluable themselves.
I think especially because we started when times were scary with COVID, and now also a lot of things are happening right now with inflation, and I think people feel like very scared. The best way to invest your money, or like in general, is to invest in yourself. And this is what we did during 2020 for 2 years before already, while we were traveling and learning these skills. So we're like, okay guys, we can't promise you like a job or something, but we can teach you how to invest in yourself. And this is like the best thing to do. So yeah, now coming up, we have 4 courses.
Mm-hmm.
How many students? Over 16,000
16,000 students.
Online, all over the world. Yeah.
So you are teachers now.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. We had to teach ourselves how to do it all, and now we're teaching other people. And it's fantastic just to see the success stories, to get the feedback from people saying that what they've learned from the course has just given them this motivation, this inspiration to just start even. Because a lot of people, they just need someone to kind of hold their hand a little bit. And our community at Club Life Design, we have Facebook groups and people coming together. They all support each other as well. So giving people that environment to feel like they can do it is also extremely important. That's what we provide, because most people, their friends, their family, unfortunately, they love them, of course, but they're not the best people sometimes to propel them into something new that they want to do. It's kind of like, stay with us.
Yes.
Especially because it is such a new frontier for a lot of people. I was even explaining to some family yesterday what you guys do and what you've created, and everyone's like, wow. Like they just
So do they make money from that?
But it's funny because the first physical things we did, like the hotel, everyone was like, oh my God, you're successful. But we made way more money with the digital things, and no one saw it because we were also very low key. We don't show what we we're not driving fancy cars or whatever. So for people to see that, they're like, oh, they must be rich. But if you are just a normal person, you just don't know. And especially if you do something unique. Like my grandpa in the beginning, he had a heart attack. He's like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
on your phone.
But I imagine Club Life Design is even not only for people who have already started. There's people who have such good products, but they just don't know how to
sell.
This is it.
Get them out there.
You can have the best product in the world, but if you don't know how to get it to people, you don't know how to sell it or tell a story about it. That's one thing that we've learned, especially Marie, because Marie's doing the stories every day. So she has learned how to tell a story every day and weave it into our daily life. And it's okay, so today we need to do this. So how can I relate that to something else in our life that people are going to think about? That's a skill in itself.
Yes.
I think what we all have to realize is that social media has turned around the original business mindset of when you write a business plan, when you do business, marketing comes in the end. It's swapped around completely. So if you have a community that's loyal to you, whether it's 10K followers or more or less, but they're really loyal and committed and they need the product that you've created, you can make so much money and then you're already quite safe. Whereas if you put money into a normal investment, a normal business, then you need to find people. It's way more risky as well.
I think that's a really key message there for anybody who's creating their own product or business now, is that the marketing should be thought about first, not as how are we going to get people to know about
Exactly. And if you're a business who doesn't have an audience or you don't know how to do that, you partner with people like us who do. And so that's how it works. You can think about it in that way. There's people out there with your market that you're looking for. This is your product or your business. These are the people we want to reach. Who is reaching those people? And then you reach out to them and then you can work together like that or learn from them, figure out how to do it. So many opportunities.
I love that. I love that you guys have gone down to the education route. That was my previous career, was teaching as well. And we always got told when we were teaching that 50% of the children, because I was primary school, we would teach, would go into jobs or careers that didn't exist yet.
Well, that's it.
They always said that already. It makes total sense.
And so even for me now, being in this space and the digital space as well, didn't exist when I was beginning teaching.
This is what's a little bit worrying about the current university system. People are studying for years for something that might not even exist. And of course, I don't want to freak people out or anything, because everyone, that's still a good path for sure. But the world is changing so fast and people need to stay up to date with that.
I mean, almost no one stays in the field that they studied. Like I studied business administration, and when we started businesses, I knew nothing. But what I learned was being very committed, very structured and very organized, which complemented Jake's side. Like he learned through years of travels before we even met to just trust in the universe and to just go for things and test things out, which I would never do. So
And Marie's like, no, we're going to need a spreadsheet.
I'm like, we need to show me the numbers.
This is what really helped us. And without each other, it's a bit harsh to say, but we wouldn't be anywhere near where we are right now. It's just because we balanced each other out in so many ways. Marie wouldn't have taken the risk. I wouldn't have had the commitment to see something through, because I would have just been sidetracked by something else.
Yeah.
And so together we partnered and we were able to
align everything together.
Yeah, that's actually a really good tip. Like, just don't start a business with your best friend because you like each other so much. Start with someone who has something that you are missing. Yeah.
Yeah, that actually is a very good business tip. Something that you're missing, something that they can complement you with. So I guess the big question now is, what's next?
A lot, like always. No, actually, 2023, we decided to also really, I'm going to tell you a couple of projects we're working on, but really focus on ourselves again. I think Jake just listened to a podcast the other day and we discussed it. We love doing that. He said life goes in episodes, no, in seasons.
seasons.
And you want to make sure that you focus on different things and not compare yourself to the last season and then say, oh, I'm not as like committed to Instagram like I was last year. No, like the first couple of years was Instagram growth, growing a community. 2020 to 2022 was like highly focused on starting our businesses, making them run, implementing people and structures and programs. And this year, I think it's highly about being our best selves, our health, concentrating on our love and relationship more again, like with the wedding, having family over. We are finally building our own place as well now.
So the home does come eventually.
We've decided to spend time in Europe and spend time in Bali as our two places. So we're still figuring out the Europe part for a few months a year. And then in Bali, we've committed to a place in Sese, and we're just really glad to have our own little place where we can put our stuff and have
The
our
last
routines.
time we came back to Bali, we said to ourselves, what are we doing? We have 2 hotels and still nowhere to live.
We were booked out. We're like, where do we go now?
And you know, Bali's hot. There's a lot going on. It can be very stressful very quickly if you're not comfortable. And every time we come back, we have to book a random hotel, carry our bags, check in, and get rained on, go to the next place, and just nowhere to be. So that's where we said, enough is enough. We need to think about ourselves for once. And so, yeah, this place in Sese, we're renting out for 5 years. The local landlord, Pak Nyoman, he's building for us and we're renting. So it's not like our project. We don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
We can give him some of our ideas and our plans. He can do it for us. And then we have a 5-year rental agreement.
And then extend whenever we want. And if
Yeah,
we want
we
to
have-
figure out another place on the island, we can. So we just, making it very less stress for us. And then we also have something coming up that's right next to our hotels that we will probably talk about very soon, but it has also to do with the Kind Girls and a couple other things we're implementing. Will become some sort of a MAJA concept that we're working on.
I think I can tell a little bit of the backstory about how this came to be, because this is a funny Bali story. When we were building our hotel, boutique hotel, you know, luxury, peaceful, we want to make it an oasis so people can come to Bali to relax. 6 months into the project, we were kind of standing on the 2nd floor at sunset, and we're standing there and we're like, oh, how beautiful is this? And then we just hear this wailing of a noise, someone singing karaoke, right? And we're like, what is that? And
Jake's like, I have nothing. I'm
What
like,
is
no,
this?
I'm
What's
going
this
to
from?
check it out.
Yeah.
Turned around, says, biggest karaoke in Bali, 7 days a week until 2 to 4 a.m. And I came back crying. I was like, we're selling this land again. This is absolute bullshit.
So we're like, oh, great. We're building a peaceful luxury hotel right next to a karaoke bar. And we were like, yeah, so peaceful. And we're like, well, this can't be. Marie, my brain goes into solution mode. Marie shuts down and goes into screw.
Life is over.
Yeah, life is over mode. And anyway, so we go, what are we going to do? Like, finally, I reach out to the owner of this karaoke bar. Very nice guy. We had a few meetings back and forth. What can we do together? How can we do something different? Can we do a cafe or something, you know?
Yeah.
Get to the end, and finally I'm just like, tell me the number.
Yeah.
What's the number it's going to
Please
take?
just leave.
What is the number that it's going to take for you to leave this place? And he gave me the number, and I said, okay, I think we can handle that. And then anyway, so we helped him relocate on Batu Belong. They're in a much better location now. He's super happy.
Right next to black sand.
Oh, yeah, so which is
perfect.
Yeah.
noisy anyway.
Perfect.
So
Okay,
people
go
come out of black
drink,
sand,
go
goes,
in there.
it's noisy anyway.
They're
So,
super happy.
so anyway, so he moved out thankfully, and then which left that place open. And we said, well, what's the chances another karaoke bar moves in? So we said, let's just extend the lease. We'll get it for ourselves. And now we had this location on Batu Belong. This really nice location right next to our hotel. So then the brain started going, what can we turn
what
this
can we
into?
do?
And
So actually now it's really exciting, and I think something special will come out of it.
in Bali, you guys would know anything is possible. And that's one of the things we love about this place. You respect everybody, but you can also dream up something and make it happen. And there's no gatekeepers. There's no anyone telling you, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. There's always a way. And I really like that about Bali.
Yeah.
And so yeah, our ideas started to flow, and the crazy part is we can truly make it happen. Whereas in Germany, Australia, it would be impossible.
Wow, all where the karaoke bar was.
Right there, yeah.
I'm definitely going next time. I'm going to pop in.
Yeah. We're planning to open this concept. So it's going to be a cafe part of it, and then there's another concept to it that we're still fleshing out. So we don't want to make any statements.
Yeah.
But we're thinking April for opening.
Positive thinking.
Yeah, that's optimistic.
Karaoke at the opening party.
Yeah, of course.
It's going to be a massive speaker.
All my friends were like, we wanted to go to karaoke. I'm like, walk down the road, go there.
You know when I said I saw your villa that night, that's all I remember from staying at that villa
Karaoke.
next door.
Did
Was
you
the
hear
karaoke
it?
all night.
Yeah.
Did you hear it?
Yeah,
Oh
you
my
would have.
God.
And
Yeah.
I actually remember thinking about you guys then going, I wonder if these guys know that there's a karaoke
Yeah.
bar.
All of the neighbors
did.
love us because we were the ones that shut it down.
Saviors.
must.
Yeah.
I wonder how they got away with the noise that
It was
that
long.
so loud.
Yeah.
As an
We
event organizer, we've got so many rules around us
Yeah.
with set noise.
No idea. And
Yeah,
I need
you
to
do.
get
Exactly.
that guy
even
working for me.
Yeah.
yeah, whatever deal he had was a good deal. But the funny thing was, it was also middle of COVID, and it was
Yeah.
just the
Yeah.
staff.
Yeah.
It wasn't even anyone in there. It's just the staff.
Jake's first thing was always saying like, don't worry, like they're gonna shut down, like no one's going there. And they
BELAJAR will
just
be
did
there in no
it.
time.
Like they survived COVID and everything.
Yeah, and we were thinking, okay, if they're doing this during COVID, what's it gonna be like when the tourism comes back? So
yeah.
luckily we dealt with it.
Oh,
It's
that
all
is
good.
a
Happy
funny,
ending, yeah.
funny
Yes.
Bali story. But
Can't wait to see.
yeah, can't wait to see what comes from that there. So, guys, thank you so much for being so open, and I really think everybody's going to find your story so interesting. It's definitely not the path commonly travelled so far in life, but we do end all of our interviews with asking your best Bali tip. So you can have one each. Or
You start. I need thinking.
Best Bali tip, I would say, when you come to Bali, try to get away from the beach clubs and things like that. They're amazing, they're great, but also try to get into some of the local spots. If you do plan to come to Bali and you want to spend more time here, or you're thinking about, oh, I would love to do this or do that, just know that it's possible. And if you kind of mingle in some of these circles, you'll get a lot of inspiration. So go to some of the places where people are working as digital nomads, ask around, meet people, don't be shy, because in Bali, everyone is kind of open to having a chat. So I would say when you come to Bali, enjoy it if it's just a holiday, but if it's something a bit more for you, don't be afraid to get to some of the local spots and just meet people, because anything can come from that. Anything can come from meeting the right person.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I would say embrace it for what it is. Bali can be anything for you. I always hear people complaining that it's busy now, but it's because you decided to go to the 3 busiest streets.
Yes.
There are many more streets here. You can drive 10 minutes up from CANGGU, and it's filled with rice fields and locals. So like it's really what you want it to be. The black beaches are beautiful, but you can still find white beaches in Uluwatu. So just find out what you want and then choose that for you. I think that's the most important part. And also one thing, because Jake had his first Bali belly in 6 years the other day.
Wow.
If you are scared to get a Bali belly, don't use the water when you brush your teeth. Just be a bit more careful and have charcoal tablets with you. They're super cheap.
Everywhere in
Get
life
the
ever
Norit
have the
tablets.
Norit.
Super cheap. This is what you give the
Saved
dogs
me.
when they have like some sort of toxic thing that they ate, and it's gone within 24 hours. So this shouldn't keep you away from the island.
Yeah.
Yes. Don't be
Norit.
scared of Bali Belly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much. It's been a real pleasure hearing your story, and we can't wait for everybody else to be able to hear it too.
Thanks again.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Wow, that was amazing. And what an incredible story to share. And I loved hearing, obviously, about their personal story, but also all the amazing businesses they've built from just doing what they love.
Excellent entrepreneurs. And I tell you what, that course of theirs, what great skills to be able to learn. I don't even think a university offers anything as such. Now, we've got all the details of everything we talked about, which was a lot,
Yes.
down in our show notes. And we hope you enjoyed this episode just as much as we loved hearing Jake and Marie's story. And of course, any of your suggestions for people for us to interview or any of your questions, drop us a DM on Instagram.
Yes. And check us out on YouTube, on our YouTube
Hopefully
channel.
you're doing that now, watching us
Well,
right
yes,
now.
that would make sense, wouldn't it?
So until next time, guys, we will tune in for the next episode and bye.
Bye.